Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, welcome to my presentation. And yes, let me just start by introducing myself. My name is Nenden Fujiya and I'm from 3A. And yes, I'm a student of English department in Galuh University. Okay, firstly, I'd like to say thank you for taking the time for seeing my research presentation here. And yes, I'd like to say thank you for my lecturer, Ms. Ratnawati, who has given me chance to make this research proposal. Okay, today I'd like to present about my research proposal entitled Analysis of the Importance of Teachers' Motivation to Students in Studying Second Language Acquisition for the third grade in Galuh University. Okay, now let's look at the outline. Okay, here in my outline there are 4 main points. The first is introduction, the second is review of the literature, the third is research methodology, and the last one is references. Okay, now welcome to my short introduction. Okay, in my introduction here, divided into 6 main points. The first is background of the study, the second is the research question, the third is purpose of the study, the fourth is significance of the study, the fifth is scope of the study, and the last one, definition of key terms. Okay, now let's start by looking at the background of the study first. Okay, related to Gardner's opinion, motivation is an important contributor to language achievement in terms of linguistic outcomes, which traditionally embrace the knowledge structure of the language. Yes, Gardner, 1985, cited in XU 2008, it means vocabulary, grammar, pronunciation, and the 4 basic skills of the language, including understanding, listening, reading, and writing. Yes, so it can be concluded that motivation is a major factor in the successful study of language acquisition. And yes, one of the most difficult aspects of becoming a teacher is learning how to motivate your students, because the students who are not motivated, they will not learn effectively. So a learner has to have an extraordinary motivation in order to succeed in learning English, especially in learning second language acquisition. Okay, that's all I have to say on my backgrounding. Now let's look at the research question. Okay, my research question here is how the influences of teachers' motivation to the students in learning second language acquisition. Yes, the next point is about purpose of the study. Yes, my purpose of the study is aimed to point out how the influences of teachers' motivation to the students in learning second language acquisition. Okay, the next is about significance of the study. Yes, my significance of the study is divided into 3 parts. The first is practically, to know the influence of teachers' motivation to the students in learning second language acquisition. The second is theoretically, yes, to give contribution how to make students have a good motivation in learning second language acquisition. And the third is personally, yes, to help the readers how to give a good motivation to the students in order that the students have a great progress in learning second language acquisition. Okay, now let's look at the scope of the study. Yes, this study only focuses on the importance of giving motivation from the teacher to the students in learning second language acquisition. Besides, this study was carried out by using case study as the research method. Yes. The next is about definition key terms. Yes, the definition key terms here divided into two parts. The first is motivation, and the second one is second language acquisition. Okay, motivation can be defined as a need or desire that energizes and directs behavior. Yes, Myers 2001, as cited in Circuit 2003. Meanwhile, second language acquisition is the study of how second languages are learned and the factors that influence the process. Second language acquisition researchers examine how communicative competence, the ability to interpret the underlying meaning of message, understand culture references, use strategies to keep communication from breaking down, and apply the rules of grammar develops in a second language. Yes, this is according to Sapignon 1997. Okay, that's all I have to say about my introduction. Now let's move on to the second main point of my research proposal, that is review of the literature. Okay, in my review of the literature here, divided into two parts. The first is intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. The second is instrumental and integrative motivation. Okay, intrinsic or extrinsic motivation refers to whether the motivation is more inside a person or outside of him or her. And yes, intrinsic motivation refers to the motivation which is originated inside a person. Yes, according to Rotter in Chalak and Kasayan, intrinsic or extrinsic motivation is related to the term locus of control, which was first introduced by Rotter, 1966, cited in Chalak and Kasayan 2010. Okay. Next is about instrumental. Within the field of language learning, the typical model is the division made between integrative and instrumental motivation. According to Gardner and Lambert, 1972, cited in Chalak and Kasayan 2010. If a person learns a language primarily for a purpose like getting a job or fulfilling an academic requirements, he or he is impacted by instrumental motivation. Okay, the next is about integrative motivation. Yes, in integrative motivation means integrating oneself with a culture to become a part of that society. Gardner and Machon 1993 have referred to these two types of motivation as motivation orientation and mentioned that depending on learner's orientation, either career or academic related instrumental or socially or culturally related integrative, different needs must be fulfilled in foreign language teaching or FLT. Okay. That's all. And now let's move on to the third main points of my research proposal, that is research methodology. Yes, in my research methodology here, there are 4 points. The first is research design, the second is research participants, the third is data collection, and the last one is data analysis. Okay, now let's look at the research design. Okay, in my research design here is using case study. Why? Because giving motivation for the students is very important, as we know, in progressing their ability in second language acquisition. In this sense, students control the flow of the classroom. Without student motivation, there is no pulse, there is no life in the class. Yes, the next is about research participants. In the study, the writer took students the third grade in class 3A of the university in Ciamis, and there is a lecturer who give motivation in learning second language acquisition in the class. Okay, the next is about research site. This research was conducted in Galuh University. It is located on R.A. Marta Dinata Street, number 150, Barigbe, Ciamis, West Java. Okay, the next is about data collection. Yes, in my research proposal here, the data were obtained by using two techniques, namely open-ended questionnaire and semi-structured interview. And yes, the last one is about data analysis. Okay, in my data analysis here, firstly, the questionnaires were delivered to the teachers to collect the main data about their assumption, the importance of giving motivation to the students in learning second language acquisition. Then, the follow-up semi-structured interviews were questionnaire and were conducted with the teachers to confirm the data gathered from questionnaire and to add the other data that were not completely obtained by the questionnaire. During the interview sessions, note-taking was conducted to collect the important data. Yes, that's all I have to say about my research presentation. And now here you can see my references. Okay, everybody, thank you so much for your nice attention. That's all I have to say about my research proposal. And yes, the last I'd like to say, Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.